One thing that happens to me frequently is when people ask me where I come from. Usually when people hear my name, they're like, oh, you're actually from here. Oh, we thought you were from somewhere else. And to be honest, I actually really enjoy it. I like it because see, one thing that bothers me is when people talk about tribes or race. It actually bothers me. I know it's weird, and don't get me wrong, but it bothers me because I don't see it. Don't get me wrong. I acknowledge it. I know that people have different skin colors and come from different races, but the problem is I don't see it. I've never been able to see it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not naive and I'm not oblivious to the obvious, especially coming from somebody that's experienced color prejudice, so I'm coming from someone that's experienced that, so I'm not naive to the obvious. It's just, for me, I see people, I don't necessarily see races. Does that make any sense? So when people start to talk about it like, oh, this race or that race, it really bothers me because I don't see it. Because I don't see it, someone like me can end up with someone from a whole other race, any other race, color, tribe, whatever it is. I mean, the first person I dated pre-varsity days was actually white, blonde hair, blue eyes, Caucasian male. So and the only people that had a problem with it at the time were mostly much older women. So I get it. Some people are just sensitive about things like that, especially when it comes to superiority complex. So I mean, racism amongst other races, I can wrap my head around. I think what I'm trying to say is, what I cannot really wrap my head around is what racism amongst black people, what some black people do onto other black people. So the thing is, how can you get rid of racism even amongst other races when amongst the black people you still have things like classism? I'm richer than you, I'm of a higher tax bracket, I'm of a better social class, or you still have things like tribalism. My tribe is better than yours. How do you get rid of racism when you still have things like that? It's close to impossible. Quick example, according to law, a widow married a man and they didn't have a child. Now, according to law, should the man pass away childless, his brother is supposed to take over the wife, the family of the man. So the man had 7 brothers. Now, the widow married the 7 brothers without a child. Now, people were asking Jesus that on Judgment Day, whose wife will she be, considering the fact that she had married 7 brothers? And Jesus said, she's not going to be anybody's wife. Everybody is going to stand individually as God's children. Now, here's my question. When you say equally yoked, is that referring to tribalism or classism, or standing as a child of God? Because you see children of God also playing tribalism as well. So should this be of utmost importance, or choosing somebody of a similar purpose? The other day, we're having a friendly argument about why other races feel superior to black people, and I was saying, I mean, in my opinion, and I'm just generalizing here, right? It's because where there's unity, there's power. This is my opinion. And other communities come together, they stand together as one, and like I said, in my opinion, and this is solely my opinion and I'm just generalizing here, I don't necessarily see that with black people. See, other communities will come into a black community, set up shop, and they will thrive, within a black community, when a black person cannot even thrive within their own community. Why? Because you see the other races and tribes, once they see their brother or their sister setting up shop, they do everything they can to come together with that person, to help that person grow and everything. I don't necessarily see that with black people. I feel like there's no real unity amongst black people, is why other communities can thrive ahead of us. It's, like I said, in my opinion, I feel like it's because we as black people, we thrive on oppression. And when you thrive on oppression, it's almost difficult to see the next person doing well. Does that make any sense? give you a quick example, right? So there was a time I had friends from like all sorts of races, right? All different races. Then I also had a friend that was black. We're not necessarily from the same country, but she was black as well. So at this point, I things were going great, right? I had a dream job, dream home, dream everything. Now this girl, the black girl, she's someone I'd known, way before then. So she knew when I was living in like a small flat, and then I now moved to like a luxury flat and everything, so she knew about everything because she was usually at mine. Now, so there was a day I had an event. It was like catering event and whatnot. So as I was getting prepared for that, she was just throwing tantrums, right? So anyway, we had a misunderstanding, and from that misunderstanding, I had to go and do a delivery. So anyway, long story short, what had happened was she had taken my plate number, she had taken my passport number, she had taken all sorts of things. And because based on that little misunderstanding, by the next day she was sending me messages like, oh, even your job, you're not supposed to have that sort of job, you're not you're black, you're not supposed to have that sort of job. Oh, even your home is to this, your home is to that, blah blah blah. I have to get you, I have to report you, something. Even your home is too luxurious to because be given to a woman, even you're this. And I realized in that moment, like, see, all the other friends I had from different races, they were extremely supportive. Now, this is somebody that we were both black, we were supposed to look out for each other, right? She was the one trying to sabotage me. Now, it wasn't just even about me. This is somebody that, she's in a relationship and the relationship breaks and the relationship has issues. Then she tries to get whoever she's dating, especially if the person is black, she will try to get that person in trouble or deported or whatever it is. This is black on black. Do you understand? This is black against black. I think the problem is, and please don't get me wrong, I will never ever trivialize what we as a tribe has been through. I would never trivialize what black people have been through. I mean, we've overcome a lot, especially since the time of oppression. We have overcome a lot as a people. But I think what the problem is, and this is my opinion, right, is something called a victim mentality, which is, I have suffered a lot, I've been through a lot, and I'm going to make other people go through it as well. You know what they say, hurt people, so I think that's what it is. It's that victim mentality of, rather than help other people up, I'm going to victimize you and lord my superiority over you. And by dwelling in that victim mentality, it's almost like we're disregarding how far we've come as a people. Now, see, a black man, without mentioning names, right, actually bought land that I was converted to a studio on the former Fort McPherson Confederate Army base. Now, this Confederate Army base, as written, was fighting to keep black people enslaved in America on that very ground. Now, this very ground is now owned by a black person. We've come a long way as a people. Shouldn't we adopt more of a survivor mentality? See, a survivor rescues others as opposed to a victim that suppresses. And as survivors, coupled with unity, we can break barriers we were never expected to. We're strong. We're black people. As survivors, we can waltz through doors we're not ordained to walk through. We move with power. We're black people. As survivors, we can soar to heights they thought we were too timid to get to. We're a force to be reckoned with. We're black people. We're black people. We're black people. We are black people. Namaste.